It all began with an idea, a simple yet revolutionary thought, that a people could govern themselves, that they did not need a king, that they could be the masters of their own fate. In the late 18th century, this was a radical notion. They believed in liberty, they believed in the rights of man, and they were willing to fight for those beliefs, to risk everything for a chance to build a new kind of nation. This was not just a squabble over taxes, it was a battle for the soul of a continent. They called themselves Americans. The Declaration of Independence was their creed, it was a letter to the world. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. The new nation was restless. Its people looked to the West. This was the era of manifest destiny. The belief that America was destined to expand, to stretch from sea to shining sea. It pushed pioneers across the Appalachians, into the Great Plains, over the towering Rockies. Families built farms, towns, and cities where none had existed before. The land was a source of immense wealth, fertile soil, rich minerals, vast forests. The discovery of gold in California in 1849 drew thousands westward, but the land was not empty. It was home to hundreds of Native American tribes. The story is also one of displacement and tragedy. The relentless push westward created a continental nation, a giant of a country. In the latter half of the 19th century, a new sound began to fill the American air. It was the roar of machines, the clang of steel, the hiss of steam engines. Cities swelled with new arrivals, from the countryside and from distant shores, all seeking work. New York, Chicago, Pittsburgh became industrial centers, skylines of smokestacks. This was the age of invention. Edison, Bell, daily life changed. Railroads stitched the continent together. Goods and people moved with unprecedented speed. Steel and oil built fortunes. Carnegie, Rockefeller, turning the U.S. into a manufacturing powerhouse. But factories were dangerous, cities crowded. Workers fought for better wages and safer conditions. This industrial base would let the U.S. project power globally, providing tools and resources for the next century. For much of its history, America followed Washington's advice: avoid entangling alliances. Separated by two vast oceans, it saw European conflicts as distant. When the Great War erupted, the United States declared neutrality, until submarine warfare and the sinking of the Lusitania shifted opinion. In 1917, America entered the fight. Its industrial output and arrival of fresh troops tipped the balance. After victory, Wilson went to Paris with a grand vision: a world made safe for democracy. But the Senate rejected the League. America retreated into isolationism. A missed opportunity. 2 decades later, the world plunged into darkness. The attack on Pearl Harbor shattered neutrality in 1941. The nation mobilized fully. Factories converted. Women entered the workforce. The U.S. became the arsenal of democracy. Factories that once made cars now made tanks and planes. FDR called the nation the arsenal of democracy. When the war ended in 1945, the world lay in ruins. The U.S. emerged stronger. It possessed the atomic bomb. Its homeland was largely untouched. Its economy boomed. The U.S. took on new responsibilities: Marshall Plan aid and UN leadership. The reluctant power had decisively stepped onto the world stage. There was no turning back. Victory in World War II did not bring lasting peace. Instead, it gave way to a new kind of conflict: the Cold War. It was a tense standoff: democracy versus totalitarianism, capitalism versus communism. A nuclear shadow hung over the planet as both superpowers built arsenals capable of destroying the world. The struggle played out through espionage, propaganda, and proxy wars in distant lands. America undertook the Marshall Plan, formed NATO, and built alliances, a radical departure from isolationism. Military bases and commitments spanned the globe. The United States accepted the mantle of leadership. Rivalry with the Soviets drove technological advance. The space race captured imaginations after Sputnik shocked America. In 1969, Neil Armstrong walked on the moon, a symbol of American achievement. The Cold War involved costly wars: Korea, Vietnam, and deep divisions at home. The Berlin Wall fell in 1989. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991. America stood alone as the world's sole superpower. America's power was never just military or economic. It was also about culture, ideas, music, movies, way of life. It relied on attraction. Its music and movies traveled the world. Jazz, blues, rock and roll. Artists from Louis Armstrong to Elvis to Michael Jackson became global icons. Hollywood told American stories: cowboys, heroes, romance and adventure, shaping ideas about the country. Brands like Coca-Cola and McDonald's became symbols of a modern consumer lifestyle many aspired to. Its cultural dominance had critics who called it cultural imperialism, yet its appeal remained undeniable, speaking to freedom, opportunity, and individuality. The story of America's rise is not a simple, unbroken line of progress. It is filled with trials, setbacks, and moments that tested the soul of the nation. The deepest scar, the original sin, was slavery, a nation of liberty that held millions in bondage. This contradiction led to the Civil War, the bloodiest conflict in American history. Reconstruction and segregation left long scars. The struggle for racial equality continued for generations. The Great Depression threw millions out of work and challenged the foundations of capitalism. The 1960s and 70s brought turmoil, Vietnam, protests, political assassinations, and a loss of faith in government. More recent shocks, the attacks of September 11th and long wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, and the 2008 financial crisis, revealed new vulnerabilities. Yet in each case the nation debated, adapted, enacted reforms, rebuilt, and sought to confront its flaws. This ability to confront contradictions is a crucial if painful part of the American story. Why is the United States seen as a superpower today? The answer lies in threads we have followed, in a long, complex tapestry of history. It begins with a revolutionary idea: self-government and liberty. Power rests on three pillars: economic, natural resources, industrial revolution, technological leadership. Military, forged in world wars and the Cold War, unmatched technological superiority and global reach. Cultural soft power, movies, music, democratic values, and the American dream. The power to persuade and attract. The world is changing and new powers are rising. America faces challenges at home and abroad. But its unique combination of economic dynamism, military might, and cultural influence keeps America central to the global story. Its tale, with triumphs and troubles, continues to shape us all. This is an ongoing story, one still being written.